Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Bulldog Alley podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Cole Forsman. I'm joined by Asher Ali.
How's it going?
We're two Gonzaga students just talking about the Bulldogs, baseball, basketball, and every sport happening here on campus. It is Monday, April 25th. How you doing today, Asher? Doing good?
Yeah, doing all right. It's quiet week right now, or alleged quiet week. So it's the week before finals and all hell breaks loose. So holding it together for sure. But I'm excited for our first episode here today. I know we kind of have to start on a little bit of a sad, somber note. Definitely a really sad, somber note, as the Gonzaga community's grieving right now, especially in the athletic department. The baseball team just lost one of its assistant head coaches, Danny Evans. Been a part of the program been a part of the program on the coaching staff since 2009. He played at GU. The guy, lived, breathed, ate, slept, drank GU just like the two of us did, but from the athlete side of things. So it's really unfortunate when you see somebody like that, or just anybody pass away, especially to something as sucky as cancer. But we want to definitely celebrate his life and all that he contributed, not to just Gonzaga on the baseball diamond, but to as a family man and all those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely sad news to hear. It happened on Sunday. For those who didn't know, Danny, like Asher said, was an assistant coach of the baseball team. He'd been there for almost 2 decades. The baseball team really thrived with him as an assistant. He was a player before then as well. I believe he had stage 4 melanoma cancer. He was diagnosed about a year or so ago. And yeah, thoughts and prayers, of course, to him and his family. And I think not just the Gonzaga community, but a lot of the teams in the conference and those former players and coaches for the staff are all grieving right now. So,
yeah. And you saw the outreach from, all the depths of college baseball, both current and past. I saw some guys in the MLB system, talking about it on Twitter. This is the dude who, he was the third base coach, the infield coach, and the lead program recruiter. And in his tenure at Gonzaga, he got 41 Gonzaga players drafted to the MLB amateur draft, which is no small feat. You got guys like Marco Gonzalez and Brandon Bailey, dudes down in the pipeline right now coming up, that he was in a big part, very integral in getting into the major leagues from Gonzaga. So the outpour of sadness and thoughts and prayers was crazy. As Long Beach State was talking about, he was an assistant, a grad assistant there, I believe, for a little while. He was just a fighter, and everybody said that he was a really really nice guy all the time. Was always able to shoot straight and tell athletes what they need to do to improve their craft. But he was always respectful in the way he went about it. I got the chance my freshman year. I talked to him twice in post-game interviews, which is only twice. Now I look back and it's like, man, I wish I could have picked that dude's brain on baseball for days, But he was, he answered every one of my questions with a great amount of respect and gave me like a thorough baseball guy answer. And I love that kind of stuff. So he will be missed by the Gonzaga community for sure. I know the baseball team's hurting. And they still managed to play through on the weekend and show a lot of heart, especially on Sunday when the news was announced. So, thoughts and prayers of the baseball team with Mr. Evans' family. One quick thing I'll say is there's a GoFundMe page right now set up by the coaching staff at Gonzaga for his wife and 2 children that he left behind. They survive him, and so any help that people in the Gonzaga community or the athletic community abroad can provide, I think would be much appreciated. So yeah, go find that link and yeah, just the Gonzaga family is one big family. So help out any way you can.
Yeah, for sure. You just alluded to it, but the baseball team was on the road this weekend. They picked up their 6th straight WCC series against St. Mary's. They shut them out on Friday. They dropped game 2, but then came back, like Asher said, on that Sunday. They came back in the 7th and the 8th inning to win 4-2. Just overall, I mean, phenomenal performance on the mound all 3 days, from Gabe to, I believe, Tristan pitched Saturday. Is that correct? Tristan, and then and then Owen finished it off on Sunday. So great stuff from the guys. They moved up to now number 11 in the poll. They're just, cruising through the WCC right now, and they look like almost a lock to host a regional, dare I say.
Yeah, that's as a team that just missed out on it barely last year. Getting a 2 seed late, and some people thought they were a snub. This year, they're kind of ensuring that they get one of those 16 regional positions. And it'll be really exciting. It'll be the first time that Gonzaga ever hosts one if they can. But that's looking way ahead in the future. We still have a few more games here to be played in the regular season, and then from there you have you have the WCC tournament. So when all that gets underway, that'll really decide who will be taking a position, or a hosting position, I should say. The one impressive thing about Gonzaga right now is, as like a top 12, top 11 program in the country, they're one of 2 teams that aren't in the Power 5 to be ranked in the top 25, which is really impressive, especially when you think about how collegiate baseball is kind of, it's a big battle between the SEC and the Pac-12 a lot of the times. Right now there's 4 schools from the Pac-12 and more than that in the SEC in the top 25. So, Gonzaga, how they stack up against other teams, they're not a big, lineup all the way through. Isn't a big power lineup, but it's a lineup that gets on base like no other. They can hit for a little bit of power, but they got a lot of speed on the base pass. They can move the ball to any side of the field, push it wherever they want. And then when you have a great kind of weekend rotation like they do, and they've been showcasing this season, really fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch. And that's a big reason why they won 6 straight series in the WCC, which is no small feat by any means.
Yeah, and great. I mean, they're getting a big contribution from some of the young guys. Savi Pinellas is a sophomore from Milwaukee. You got Cade McGee. Those 2 lead the team in batting average right now. They're really fun to watch. And then Tyler Rando, just as that senior, that leader, he stepped up big time during that St. Mary's series. So, but yeah, it seems like this team really just kind of thrives on that. Their strong rotation on the mound. And yeah, we'll see how far that can carry them. They have that big series at the end of the year against, I think it's San Diego on the road. That'll definitely determine a lot about the WCC standings heading into the postseason.
Yeah, and what's nice too is kind of like some tune-up games along the way. You obviously have some other conference foes in LMU and Santa Clara, but they have 3 standalone games against Pac-12 opponents on the docket too until before playoffs get underway. Up tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow, they got Washington State at Wazoo. We'll see if they can put up another 12-0 spot like they did last time when they kind of routed the Cougs, but expect a battle there for sure. And then UW, I believe that game was postponed earlier in the season and they didn't get to play it. So that'll be a nice kind of rekindling of a little cross-state rivalry. And then Oregon, who they fell to earlier this year on May 17th, that'll be a match to look out for. So Zags are definitely gearing up for postseason play and hopefully a push into a super regional or, even if they can get to Omaha, man, that would be so cool.
That would be. Yeah. I mean, after last year, just the way they performed that regional against Oregon, they hung in there, or I should say LSU too. But yeah, Zags are back at home after that Tuesday standalone game against Wazoo. Then they're back at home for a weekend series against LMU the 29th, 30th, and May 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cole, let's talk real quick before we get out of everybody's hair a little bit about Zaga basketball, men's basketball, on the recruiting trail a little bit. trying to stack some transfers. It's that time of it's that time of year. I don't know, Wayne. What do you see out there? What are the Zags kind of licking their lips at?
Yeah, well, Tyrese Hunter today, he was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year at Iowa State, and he's on the move. Today he announced Gonzaga's in his final six, along with Texas, Kansas, Louisville, Tennessee, and Purdue. I believe I think he's visiting Tennessee this week, and then possibly us, is what I've heard. So yeah, keep an eye on him. Contributor for a Iowa State team that kind of came out of nowhere this year. They made it all the way to the Sweet 16. He's a pest on the defensive side. He didn't post the greatest shooting splits, but as a freshman, I think he still has a lot of room to develop. And I think that's what you like to see. And then outside of the transfer portal, Wesley Gates III, he announced on Twitter today that the Zags gave him an offer. He's a four-star recruit out of Beaumont, Texas. He led his high school to the 5A state championship this past season. Just a really big guard, 6'4", 200 pounds as a junior, kind of insane. We just definitely keep an eye on those two for the immediate future, or for the immediate present and the future.
Right now, looking at the transfer portal, the transfer portal is, I don't have the exact numbers or whatever, but there's so many players out there trying to transfer at the moment. It's just this whole new era of college basketball. It's just leading to a lot of transfers, which I know, our friend and coworker and Dan Dickow is not a fan of, but I personally am. I think it makes college basketball a lot more exciting. And it gives players that freedom to really kind of be themselves. As Gonzaga basketball has seen what an Iowa State transfer can do for the program. They saw it this year with receiver Bolton. If Hunter can, get anywhere close to that level, and as a taller guard especially, that Gonzaga's maybe kind of thirsty for a little bit at the moment, especially with somebody like Julian Strother, declaring for the draft, and he may not come back. Getting a taller guard in your backcourt would be super helpful. A guy like Hunter certainly adds that to the roster. And like you said, maybe not the greatest, most efficient shooting splits last season, but he has that raw talent that you could definitely see, a program like Gonzaga kind of optimizing when he's here. And then when it comes to the recruiting trail, I know that Gonzaga fans have been a little bit desperate, maybe, if you will, to snag a recruit as of late, after we just lost two big ones, over both, one in the 2022 class, one in the 2023 class. So getting, I think, our first recruit to sign on from the class of 2023 would be huge, especially if it was somebody like Yates. As we talked before the show about how his size is just so, outstanding for a kid his age. So if we can get something like that, like I was talking about Hunter, having that size there is huge for Gonzaga. So in the backcourt, so it'd be exciting to see if we can get him. But I know that Coach Few and that recruiting staff still has a long way to go to get him.
Yeah, for sure. Because right now the backcourt's looking pretty thin right now. We just, with Andrew Nemhard declaring, Julian possibly as well going to leave. We have Nolan Hickman, Dom Harris, and Hunter Salas. And Nolan Hickman at the collegiate level is the only one with true ball handling point guard experience. At least he can show that he can do that. So any depth at this point is much needed. And yeah, like you said, a guy like Hunter for next year would be huge. And yeah, the transfer portal it's a wild place right now, and NIL is throwing a big old wrench into it. I know there's been a lot of recruits that are getting pulled towards schools because of the marketability, just the overall size of the market. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Hunter has in store. I don't believe he announced when he's going to make his decision. I might have missed that, but as much as we know, we just gotta stay in touch with that.
For sure. I think that about does it for us for episode 1 of Bulldog Alley. Cole, it's great to have you here. It's great to be here myself. Looking forward to many more renditions of this, many more episodes. And yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Gonzaga, Twitter, whoever watches this, listens to this, you can tweet at us, ask us questions, DM us, whatever. I got time. I only got like 150 followers on Twitter, so I got time to talk about all things Gonzaga with you, or all things college sports. But yeah, that does it for us. I think here at Bulldog Alley. So we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in, and go follow Gonzaga Nation SI on Twitter and Instagram. Have a good one, guys. You too.
Yep, you too, Cole. Let's see.